Thank you. Good morning. It's not going to be a lecture. My name is Anikó Rácz. I'm from Budapest. I work for Sin Art Center. I'm the artistic director there, and I also do a lot of trainings, workshops for career development, for artists, for emerging artists, mid-career artists, in schools like the ones that you go, and also with young professionals. And I need to be very strict with my notes, otherwise I can speak forever. So today I have brought you the topic of sustainability, which you may have heard a lot about. It's a huge topic that we discuss also in our profession, but everywhere else. And my hope is that we bring it down to our level, what we can do about it. But before we do that, I would like you to do a short introduction to each other. And instead of saying who is where from, let's do it in another playful way. So you'll be spending these days together, and it's not just for doing dance, but you may be having lifelong professional alliances between you. So it's worth meeting each other and having good conversations. So I would like to ask you to stand up and maybe put your stuff on the side. It's going to be very short and hopefully fun. And I will ask you 3 questions that you will be discussing in pairs in 4 minutes. And I would like to ask you to find a new pair after each question, okay? And find somebody that you don't know. It's good. These questions are really simple. And so it's not going to be a huge thing. In each round, it's 4 minutes. And also make sure that you speak and also listen. So keep the balance between the two of you. All clear? Any questions? Okay, find a pair. And then I will tell you the first question. Just make an eye contact. I don't know if we are even or uneven. If we are, is there anybody who doesn't have a pair? Yeah. Walter, would you be so kind? Yes. It's not a difficult question. So yeah. Thank you. So my first question is, what do you hope to get out of these 5 days for yourself? Okay? What do you hope to make out of it? 4 minutes, all right? And speak and listen.
I think so. I think before he came to parties. Actually, a lot of great dancers I've met. There is so many competitions. You can say so much competitions. You can say, and it's very balanced. But it's good.
It's a bit of a pity for you being in Munich, because the other ones, they meet day and night. So, yeah. Half a minute.
Thank you. Please find a new pair. Can I tell you the second question? Thank you. The second question is, what can you bring to this event? How can you contribute to it? Okay? What do you bring? And 4 minutes again. Speak and listen.
We invited him first for a lecture here in the official program of TANZWERKSTATT, and then later on with lots of pieces, and we collaborated also in TANZWERKSTATT here, so we are really, meanwhile, like old friends. He's not as old as me, but it's very nice, and I kept asking him to send students already in the very beginning when he was not even there yet in OJ, but he said he has to settle things first and then.
Yeah. And then they get it. No, it's nice. And
yeah, so I think that's definitely something that I can share. Yeah. And what's your dance background?
like my previous background of dancing has been very different. Though I had a lot of contemporary training, but I was included in a lot of folk dancing and a lot of martial arts, and also we have our classical style, which is similar to ballet but on a different level. I think that is mostly what I've learned. So contemporary training is not what we really did.
So find a new pair again, please. Somebody you don't know. Can I raise the third question, please? It's going to be only 3 minutes. Tell your pair the last thing that made you really laugh. A story.
Like, there's a lot of things I laughed about today, but to think of one specific thing is, I think yesterday my friend sent me like a voice message, like my best friend, and she was telling me about a night out she had and stuff like this, and like some drama that happened, and the way she was talking about it was so funny to me. I know, this is the voice message, I know. Yeah.
I feel like he's doing like let's say
Exactly.
I know it's making noise, but I don't know if it's shaking everything.
He said he was thinking like maybe we should change beds or something so that it stops.
That's
This
funny.
is the weirdest part of the conversation to record.
I don't know.
Can I have your attention, please? It's so nice that you are in these good conversations, and you will go on with it, but now we don't have much time, so can we sit down and then we look at sustainability a bit? Okay. So now I will show you a small presentation, and then I will ask you to think together about it and come closer. I don't bite. So it's good that you see that. And don't worry to take notes. I will share this presentation with you, and maybe you can share it on, so you will find all the material. Sustainability, does it sound familiar? Can you just mention a few words when you hear sustainability? What do you think of? Say? Brainwashing. Greenwashing. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. What else? Just top of mind. Trust. Rest. I'm hearing different things. It's so funny. Okay. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. What was that? Okay. Anything else? Yes. Okay, it's so good that it's usually connected to green and environmentalism, but I believe it's so much more, and that's what I thought I would be sharing with you today, how bigger I think it should be that way. I've brought you a model introduced by IETM in 2021. IETM, does that ring a bell? No? It's a big network in Europe and also now beyond. It's one of the oldest networks of performing arts. It has like 500 members, and it's for professional development and networking. They have meetings, and they also do a lot of research, and this is one of them that they made in 21, which was about rewiring the network and thinking about the future of our ecosystem. I found it very inspiring, and I thought that it brings sustainability closer to us or down to our own level, because for me, I sometimes cannot get my head around it. It's too big to think about it alongside my daily work as well. So it has 5 elements. It discusses sustainability in 5 different categories: artistic, social, human, ecological, and economic. And I will show you now briefly what these are, what they mean it is, and then we will discuss it in smaller groups. So artistic, it says slow art, artistic value is central, artist-driven development, and space-time for transformation. So these are the 4 main ideas. It's basically about artistic practices. It puts the artistic process in focus. By slow art, we also mean that we don't only think about production, but also growth and development artistically, mentally, and so on. It allows that we allow time for research to recharge emotionally, mentally, and so on. Often, production is directed by its conditions, the hosting venue, what you get, how much resources you have, in so many different ways. But here the idea is that it's the internal artistic requirements that should really lead the planning of a project instead of the external conditions. If you have questions, you don't understand something, please let me know. But social, so that also again 4 different ideas about it: equal access and inclusion, demonstrable impact on society, synergies beyond the arts, long-term meaningful collaborations with social groups. This is about how the artists and their practices are embedded in their local environment or even larger environment, what connections we had with social groups, with the society as such, and what our impact can be. You may have heard that we are considered to live and work in an arts bubble, and this is really about how we break out from there and how we make our alliances stronger outside ourselves. And then the human, fostering learning, growth, development, fair practices, shared leadership with care in center, and a better work-life balance. This category is really about the individual artists, managers, art workers, and how they work in a team. So this is about our internal creative teams or production teams, how we have a sustainable career path or on our own, that we allow for learning, for new things also after school, about collaboration within the team, how we share responsibilities, about finding balance in order to prevent from burnout. And then the ecological. In this category we find ecological artistic production practices, meaningful and green mobility, rethinking internationalization, ecological awareness. This is about going green and how we consider ecological aspects in our work. When we plan a project, do we think, for example, what we are going to do with the props and costumes after the show is out? Have we planned for that, what their life will be beyond the production is ending, just for example? Or when we tour, do we think together with the hosting venue that we do something different, something other than just presenting a show, going there and then coming back, doing that within 3 days? Or do we somehow reach out in the local context as well? So that was ecological. And the last one is economic, of course. That's about money. On an individual basis, as artists, it's good to plan your career financially as well. How you are going to have different resources, financial. How do you find an existence from your job, really? Do you do teaching? Do you do other activities? Do you do anything outside the arts? For organizations, collectives, it is also about how you employ artists. For example, when you plan a project, you plan it with the financial capacities that are available. So you don't plan with free work, for example. And for instance, when you are given a space to work in, you invite other artists to share the resources with them, to share the time and space, so that studio, for example, is used better. Okay, so this is, I know it's very brief, but we are going to have a look at them in more details now in small groups. Any questions so far? Does it make sense? Of course, they are connected, so it's good to study them or to make steps forward in them in relation to each other. So it's like a whole system. All right. So what we will do now, that I just checked the time, we will do 3 rounds, okay, in small groups. We will put one another in groups of 6, 7. You are 31, so it's going to be 6, 7 people around one paper. So on each of these papers, you will find those 4 items. And maybe I just put it down. Can you help me? Just put 2 in the corner there in the back. And maybe here one, and I put there one. I'll just put it there, okay? So you will be able to discuss one topic in 15 minutes, and because we have 45 minutes, you will have 3 groups to discuss it with, and I hope that in the end we will just summarize quickly what was said in all 5 groups. I expect that people will find human and artistic the most popular, but I encourage you to do the economic and also to go for the social and so on. Arrange yourselves evenly, so if there are too many people in one group, then go to another one. And then in 15 minutes, I will tell you the time, and then you rotate. Before that, I would like to ask for 5 volunteers to be like table hosts. You will be staying at that paper and maybe summarize to the second group what has been said. You don't have to, it's not a big presentation, don't worry. In the end, maybe you will be the one who summarizes to the big group. So who would like to volunteer for that? Yes, thank you. So find the paper, okay? First the table hosts, and then you stay with this paper for all the time and summarize for the second and the third group what has been said. Okay? Just 1, 2, 3, and 2 more. Thank you so much. So what I would like you to do is that have a look at those 4 topics that's within the category, and think of maybe practices that you've heard of, ideas that you may have. How can you make a step forward in that? Any instances in your own life or any questions that you don't understand, anything that would hinder that kind of development, okay? So bring in ideas and experiences that's connected to your own professional life or something that you have heard, okay? So find a table. So this is ecological, that's artistic, that's economic, social, and human. Maybe you go in the corner so you are the farthest away from. Okay, is it all clear? Any questions? I bring you pens. What did you want to ask?
Okay, but we will change the groups, right?
Yes, you will change the group, so it's not going to be the same group that you are wandering with. So make your own choice. What do you want to discuss next?
Okay, let's see. Economic. Diverse revenue streams. I don't understand. Sharing resources. So, what is revenue?
Security. I think there's actually different sources of financial stability than only dancing or performing, I assume, no? tax revenue like a source?
A source.
What is it?
Okay.
I'm not sure, I might say
So
something
when you-
totally wrong.
Are we always referring it to dance, or are we referring it to like everything in life?
Yeah, this was like what I was thinking. I think everything in life.
Oh,
because-
okay.
Everything in life.
Okay. But
I think in the arts, maybe in general.
Yeah.
we just stay in the arts. Like we don't refer to life. Like don't refer to.
Like, are we talking this topic about like in general life,
No.
or just the arts and dance and?
About your own professional life.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Whatever it is. If you have work outside the arts, that's wonderful because that's also an aspect to bring in.
For pay and security, people don't want to pay because they assume that the people love to dance for free.
Put it down.
And most of the times they don't pay you the price you deserve.
Yeah.
Underpaid.
Wait, first like
Because of that, it's also hard to get to know what is the fair pay. It's hard to define the fair.
visibility.
Yeah, because if you do for I don't know. Okay, we are in arts, but if you do like gigs for commercial, I don't know, stuff, then you get paid more because the industry gets more money.
But also even in arts, I mean, like if you have less resources, when invite less dancers, like it's so often the case that people are now asking for 10 dancers and paying less than the minimum wage. Sorry, it's like recently was the subject and I'm so angry.
No.
Go for it.
Yeah, really, now.
Dancer.
Wage?
What is minimum wage in your country?
In my country, I don't, I don't even know, but in Germany it was.
Then I also think about not only like, because this is a very economical level, but also how we offer classes that there is a format where people can join with their own capacities. Because, for example, there's a lot of inclusivity between bodies, but also like how it is for us as injured, when we are injured, like, or when we have a different capacity, it changes every day. So like how we can create formats that is like inclusive or can be flexible, like people can be adapted and not being this kind of class that you go and dance. If you are not able to do, you need to sit and watch. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So it's about pedagogy, maybe.
Yeah.
It's about how dance pedagogy, what kind of dance pedagogy is offered in the class, no? It's about the formation of the class.
Yeah.
How you form the class.
And also positive thinking in a way that, you don't need to sit down, but that you try to find solution, like that you go with different ways. Yeah, more kind of creative thinking also in that sense.
Can you, for example, is it a pedagogy if this person cannot move, but just being able to offer like imagine that you're moving, or like working in couples, for example, if one person is not moving and the other person is moving, finding a way to connect them in such a way that the person is gonna live the experience in a different format, in a different way. Like I don't know, there can be some ways.
Yeah. How can we write flexible pedagogy? Or
Maybe, what was it you said? Personal boundaries.
So that would be something that we should work on too.
Yeah. Because I feel like you can always see it more when you're working like with choreographers or other people.
And actually, every person should also choose how they like. I mean, it depends if you're working in a company or as freelancing, but like it doesn't matter what your personal life is. The relationships you have, they should stay for you and shouldn't be like I don't know, affected through your career. I mean, not song. This is fostering learning, growth, and development.
I think there's always space for like learning, but like growing and development takes so long. And I think sometimes you like want to rush it or like have the patience.
Yeah, because you're actually never going to be ready. Like there's always something new to learn. And I feel like, especially with like being in an institution, like getting a degree, like it feels like you need to get somewhere at the end of it, but actually like the learning continues after that, and it's like
So much opportunity to learn. I think also dance is such a like for example, dance therapy or in comparison to music therapy is so less developed sometimes. Like there's countries where it's not recognized, and it could be more research, like dance therapy, dance for kids or adults. And for me, it's like kind of sad that it's not as developed as, for example, in Vienna, it's not recognized, and music therapy is recognized, and it's like takes opportunity to people that want to grow.
Mozart was born.
Yeah.
You get like the people, no, I'm joking. Like it's just what the heritage is, and then what the legacy is, and then the cities or places follow that. But definitely dance is so underdeveloped and underestimated in general, not just in the therapy field, but in our lives. Like everyone, non-dancers, like it's not just like in companies or us in the institutions, or like the potential of dance in general is way more than I think what it is tapped in Europe or anywhere else.
I think that's also a way of
like you mean as institutions, also not just like as a private person, but like as a dance company, as a dance.
Yeah, to contribute to the like systematic change or change that's really important or that's really like more effective than just us being aware. Because I mean, as an artist, I think everybody more or less has some kind of awareness about that. But I think to use what you have as artists to really bring it into like a political context and use it for political influence, because I think it can really be part of a rethinking or reenactment. Because I think the rethinking is not the most important, but that it's like really happening. It's really a new way of acting out and wie nennt man so, Umweltschutz halt, das ist so ein ecological climate, ja. Ich kann es in Englisch einfach nicht sagen.
Do you mean it as in political activism?
Kann ich einfach kurz auf Deutsch sagen? Ich meine, dass du I'm just saying it in German and then we translate because I can't say it in English. Ich meine, dass man nicht nur deine eigenen, okay, wie touren wir oder wie arbeiten wir, das reicht ja nicht, sondern dass du diese Tools, die du lernst als Tänzer, als Künstler benutzt, um quasi politischen Einfluss zu nehmen in Form von, keine Ahnung, Aktivismus auf der Straße oder halt wirklich quasi aufzuklären, sowas wie, keine Ahnung, Lectures Performance, oder dass man es halt wirklich als Protest benutzt oder halt als Druckmittel, weil im Endeffekt ist das, was wenn man sich die Climate Change anschaut, ist das, was passieren muss on a bigger scale und nicht nur, dass wir es nicht tun, sondern dass man halt Leute mal die Fakten hören oder halt, dass sich halt Leute an Fakten halten. So. Und das ist so, also ich finde es immer ein bisschen irgendwie so, okay, es ist wichtig, dass man sein eigenes Handeln natürlich irgendwo anpasst, aber ich glaube, das Allerwichtigste ist, dass man es schafft, das, was quasi gerade passiert, künstlerisch so darzustellen, dass die Leute das wirklich zugänglich sind, weil anscheinend die Fakten die Leute ja seit 50 Jahren nicht interessiert. Die sind ja seit über 50 Jahren gibt es diese Fakten ja über den Climate Change und was damit passieren wird. Aber die Leute ignorieren das halt. Und ich meine, dass wir als Tänzer, als Künstlerin, die Tools haben, diese Sachen auf einem neuen Weg zu präsentieren und damit halt einen Einfluss auf Ecological zu haben und nicht nur, also nicht nur quasi immer zu schauen, okay, wie tun wir das ist natürlich auch wichtig. So. Aber ich glaube, das ist
I think that's super important, like the arts also as a tool.
Shall we try to translate?
I think in general it was like said that the art itself can also be a tool for change and to provoke change, also on a like more global political layer, and not just like the changes you think for the company and how you can be ecologically more sustainable.
Okay, so the first 15 minutes is up. Find a new topic, a new table. The table hosts are staying. They will summarize very briefly, but really briefly. You don't have to say everything, just where you got, and then discover the new topic. So that's ecological, that's artistic, economical, social, and human. Maybe he's lonely still. Join him. This is too many, so maybe go there, go there. Would you like to go? You were there, then stay here. And can I ask one of you to go there? Or, yeah, please, thank you. Thank you. And just one thing that the table hosts, so another little task, that make sure that there is a balance in the discussion. So if somebody doesn't say anything, maybe encourage them so that everybody is taking part. Just thank you. So 15 minutes.
I think I can more explain like each small sentence than a global thing, but we're not sure about this. It was a bit. I can just explain this one. It's about the artist itself leading the creative process and not letting the administrative thing or the context thing or the hierarchical aspect influence your work. So this is kind of the main idea. This well, I think it's yeah, I don't know. I will be a bad host maybe. Maybe should then yeah, but it's kind of linked with it. But it's there was also a thing about keeping our trusting our main idea that came back here about giving time to what we already know or practiced and not always trying to change and find new creative process or new movement or always new thing. That our world is working now, and it's linked with the practice of doing nothing, of the lazy artists, and to recycling a bit the movement, trusting what has been done, because everything has not been done at 100%, or like we never finished one thematic, so we can always search on what has already been done. And I think I kind of did the main cycle thing. And there was, the romanticizing labor was the thing of the hard working always being putting it front, and it's okay, you can have a good work and working a bit on it, and like the value of hard working has to change, and not always thinking that if I work a lot it will be better than, like, you can work normally efficiently. Yeah, that are the main ideas. Sorry, I hope it was clear.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
No, it's up to you.
This one I feel like is really interesting, because I feel like when you're in one institution for a long time, I don't know about where you guys train, but especially with us, like, I feel like I sometimes don't know what I actually think anymore, because there's so much like other opinions in your ear all the time, and there's like a lot of like guidance into like areas that you should be interested in, and even if you're not, like I feel like there's a lot of influence on, like you might come up with something like choreographically, and then it's something that you're like really interested in, you're really passionate about, and then there's always someone like higher above, like in your ear, being like, oh yeah, that's fine, but like do it like this, basically, even if that's not what you want. So when you start like working more freelance, and you like suddenly you have like all this freedom to like explore whatever you want, it's a bit more daunting in that way if you've always been like conditioned to think a certain way or to like do things a certain way. So like I feel like finding your own artistic value is really like much more challenging, because even if you think you know like what you're actually interested in or what you're actually passionate about, it's just like habit to think, oh, but like maybe that's not what I think, or maybe that's not actually what I want, or maybe that's not what I actually believe, because there's so many people around you all the time. We're all like interacting with each other artistically. There's so much influence from the people around you, and it's kind of difficult to hone into what you actually want, like what you actually believe. So I feel like that one is really interesting.
It's
really good point.
Know how to write it.
Let's say that again.
Me, in the same thing, I have this, we don't always know what we want, but we often know what we really don't want, or sometimes we know, like, not everything we don't want, but some things. And I think it's always helpful to come back to our limits, and just knowing that this is not possible for me, humanly or artistically or anyway. But, so maybe I will write it about. We more often know our limits than, like, no, not really, but.
I feel like that's always like the most challenging aspect, because, and I think there is also coming like the sustainability aspect in, because this also takes the most time, I feel like, to really find your own voice and find your own, like, what do I think, and this takes so much time that sometimes it's so much easier to go back to something that has been said to you.
So we have 10 minutes left, that's why I'm being pushy now. And I can see that there are so many things written down, and I'm so happy. What we will do now, that really in 1.5 minutes, I'm asking the table hosts not to mention everything, because there are so many things, but maybe highlight a few things. We'll make a round. And we discussed in the meantime that these sheets are going to be staying somewhere in the house during the week, so you can read them in breaks. So they will find a place for that. So yours was artistic. Can you mention just a few things here?
I think three main ideas.
And speak up so that everybody hears you. Talk to them.
Slowing, stretching what we're doing, trusting what we're already doing, not always switching to something else. And there was this question about is it a privilege or is it allowed by the system we're working in? How can we change it step by step by first with the time we have and not trying to create time that there's not? And how can we, inside like an hour that is given, how can we work stretching, slowing a bit the process, trusting that it's not just lazy and everything. And the second main idea, I think, was about the artist, the value, the way you're building your work, to trust your idea, because if you don't trust what you propose, then people will maybe start to influence it or to want to change it. And also, searching for your limits and keep with what you like, what you know, what you like to do, what you feel confident to build a bit of, scale of what you want to do and everything.
I I think it's very important what you said, that to have these conversations with all those structures that you are going to be working with, because artists alone, okay, I need more time, I need more money, I need more space, but it should be like a dialogue with all those, so to say, gatekeepers. So it's good to bring up. The artists tend to feel grateful if they are given an opportunity, and they don't consider that actually they can have some needs and requirements about the conditions they work with. But I'm encouraging you to be brave, to talk about them, and maybe you will not get everything what you want, but at least you have stated what you need. So it should be a conversation. Thank you. Let's go on. This is ecological.
We found a lot of stuff.
Yes, I can imagine.
But it kind of connects also to what you said before, that it still feels like to choose the ecological path, or to take that choice is still, you're still in a very privileged situation when you can do that, because of money, because of time. It's a lot about organization. We said to just rethink the way we are touring, the way we travel for jobs, and also to maybe instead of encouraging the need to travel for jobs and opportunities, to nourish and support the local scene, because a lot of people feel like, okay, where I'm from, there's not a lot of opportunities for me to grow as an artist, so they have to leave that space and to go somewhere else, and that's just ecologically not the nicest thing. So and then as artists we also said, like, we have a voice, we have the opportunity to make political statements, to be active, but it's not only a thing we can show that with our art, but also in the way we work and the way we communicate with like institutions, and just rethinking the way we work in the studio daily, but also how we want to develop the dance scene further.
Okay, I think it was very important what you said there, that somehow in dance, what I can see, that work is always somewhere else. So it's never somehow your own city. But I think it's very much connects to the social aspect of that how do you find the opportunities and your network, professional and social network in your own city, and how you get grounded there. While you are young, you want to discover the world, but there will be a moment when you have to find a base. And it's good to have alliances there and to know what's happening there. So while you are doing all these travels in the next 10 years, 15 years, I'm encouraging you to have in mind what's in your hometown, if you want to go back there, or what's in your base, what you call hometown, and what's happening there, and have friends and colleagues and the network there, because that's where you are going to get old. But that comes later. Okay. This was economic. Can we?
Okay. Well, we found out that the arts and the capital system don't really mix. So the ever-standing question is still how to change the system to incorporate the arts more. And just in this last round, we came to the conclusion, or found out, that dance is sort of the least valued art form, comparing it to music or acting and painting and all of that. So
as the poets.
As the poets, that's it. So our question was how to make dance more important in society, how to incorporate dance so the value of dance becomes more valued, basically. So a model of maybe going to primary schools and from early age on showing people that dance is important, that dance is something to be valued. Then we had a lot of talks about that dancers sometimes they just dance for visibility and don't get paid much. And so we also talked about activism for fair working conditions and creating sort of solidarity in the dance community, building dance communities like work unions where we are sort of safe and we don't have to constantly compete against each other, and create sort of more like musicians. They also have more like a group identity together. So as a dance community to have a group identity and be safe in that. Building new models of dance schools as well, where that gets taught in a way, and raising solidarity, like I said. And then we also had this topic of, rather than flying in artists from all over the world, who are the local artists? What's in the local areas, the local artists, and what can we learn from them, rather than going after like what's trendy at the moment, which techniques are trendy, like do we need to constantly outsource and fly people in from all over the world. Sharing visibility, so that if someone gets a big job, some choreographer gets a lot of funding, how can they share this visibility? How can we share funds? I think that's it.
Wonderful. Thank you. We go on to social.
So we kind of discussed a lot of points, but I think the main ones that are really interesting are about how to include people, like creative pedagogy, which includes specially able people, and how we don't let them sit at the side, and also include them, and giving them the same experience or the feeling as just not the people who are dancing at the point, and also how to include people who are not able to afford a lot of classes, and probably having an idea of pooling, the ideas of scholarship, and just a second. Yeah, then how we can, as dancers, we just sometimes there are points where don't have enough space to dance, so we use the idea of shared spacing and collectiveness and collaborations. So also making programs and including amateurs in dance programs. I think this is good because as a lot of programs that happen, it's more for professional dancers and everything. So how to include like kids or old people or people who are new to dancing. So that gives them an idea about what is happening in the dance world, and a lot of outreach program which helps people to understand dance in the initial stages. Like there was a point where we discussed the people are not introduced, and there's not much dancing in the elementary schools, like also from where I come and other examples. So if we are introduced in an early stage, we can understand what's the dance about or what is happening, give them a broader idea of understanding, and early introduction to arts, and how to bring art beyond the artist bubble. So this was synergies beyond the arts. So that still remained as a question for us, but there was a good point that using the arts to gain new perspectives on broader topics, like collaborating with climate scientists on different, probably engineers or different kinds of scientists, which also, it's just not about making art, but also finding the topics where we include other subjects where people can connect to it. And yeah, I think that, yes. Okay. I spoke too much, sorry.
Thank you so much. And because we don't have much time left, I go to the last but not least human. Ooh, paper is full. So just some few thoughts, okay? It's really full, so have a look at it later.
Yeah, I would say the main words and topics that came around the topic human in relation to all fields are mental health. That was a big topic with in the relation of work-life balance or fair practices, and how we should, another big word was boundaries and consent, how this is such important for us as humans and dancers to be confident that we can put boundaries and we can put priorities, and we shouldn't feel pressure to fit into a certain box or stereotype as dancers. And also a really nice thought that came was how we can bring our human side into the arts, how we're not just artists, we're not just dancers, we have so much more in our lives and that play a role in our mental health and our identity than just dance. And this should be also be concerned in the sense of like how we balance our work, or how we go with fair practices. And with shared leadership came a lot of like thoughts about communication and listening to be able to build this. That also came the topic of like a shared responsibility in relation to shared leadership, because leadership, the elements of leadership are always going to be there, but the shared responsibility and the this changing of roles is so important. And we also talked about like acknowledge dancers and performance contributions in like productions, and this is also with how a choreographer goes with the work that the dancers put. And well, the last that with the topic of development and growth, like fostering learning, we talked about how the contemporary dance field is always developing actually, and it's for us even dancers hard to define it because the arts are always developing. So, and how dance research can be so much more expanded, so that we have more fields than just like dancing in the stage. We have dance research, dance therapy, and these all are topics that could still be developed. And yeah, and sharing support with others, sharing ideas and getting support is one of the main things that I think humans do and we should bring in the arts.
Okay, I think we have run out of time. It's very much about communication, so I think the speaking and listening is so important. So it's good to know that people will not know how we feel, what we think, unless we speak up. So don't presume that people know. Have a voice, and also have an ear. That's very important. Ask questions. So I'm putting Walter on the spot now. Ask questions how TANZWERKSTATT is operating, how joint adventures is wherever you go. Make sure that you know where you are, how that opportunity was made possible, how is it embedded in the big structure. So ask these questions and make a little map in your early career of the ecosystem, that what is where, how that's happening, how they are connected, because that's a very, very valuable knowledge if you want to develop your career. So I think we have run out of time. I just want to show one last thing to you, and that's a bit of pitching. So I hope that you found this model interesting or something good to start from, or it's just a model, it's not the eternal truth, but something that I find useful, and that Sheena, I just showed that to you very quickly. We are now developing a board game of these 5 elements, and this is just the board. It's in progress, but at autumn time it's going to be ready, online, downloadable, that you will also find on our website. So that's something that you can actually go on and play with in your working teams. So thank you so much for your input. I think it was great, and now I will let you on to have a break. Okay? So thanks a lot.